You are listening to The Winningest with Adam Wins. Intelligent information from those that have achieved the highest levels of success to become the winningest in wellness and wealth, bringing you the winningest from around the globe to help you get to the highest levels of winning to become the winningest in everything you do, leading the way to the winningest to get you the winningest levels in your wellness and wealth. Winningest with Adam Wins.
Hey there, this is Adam. This is The Winningest. And today we're going to be talking about the coronavirus, how it's going to affect your life, how it's going to affect the stock market, how it's going to affect your wealth. There are certain things that we have in life, and one of those things is called history. So up in the corner here, you will see it right here. This is something called the Cedric chart. Now, we've had this Cedric chart for many years, okay? It historically goes back well into 1911, okay? And it's statistically predicted all the stock market crashes. There's a line A, a line B, and a line C. I'm going to read you what line A is, okay? So you can see it right here. Line A are years of good times, high prices, a time to sell. Okay. Line B is years of hard times and low prices, which is a time to buy. And line C is years in which panics occurred and will occur again. Okay. So if you're looking at this chart from a historical standpoint, we have the numbers at the top. Right in this area is where it's most interesting. Okay. So right in the upper right-hand corner, we have 2007, even 1999 through 2026, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're headed into. We have had in 2007 a high point in the stock market. Now, we had this chart well before 2007. It was created in the early 1900s in that time by a man named Cedric, okay? History tends to repeat itself. There's a lot of things that go according to certain types of patterns and in certain types of ways. Okay, it's not very Simpson-esque when you look at things like Donald Trump getting elected, the Simpsons projected the coronavirus. Those are maybe life imitating art. Maybe somebody has some advanced knowledge. This could be something similar to that. It has proven successful over the past 100 or so years. So, with that being said, we've known we were in for a spot, and these numbers, granted, 2002 was a low point, so is 1929. We all know what happened in 1929, 1948, all around those time periods, and then in year 2019, which is one of those panic years. So we did have a 2007 to a downward market cycle here, which is right around the 2012 mark till it started going back up to 2016. So it's relatively correct, okay? It's not an exact science. They don't know exactly when or what's going to trigger it. But we are in one of those times of panic, when panics will occur. So we experienced today, this week, a 10%, it's 11 point something percent market decline. Okay, that technically is a correction. So the question is it done? Have we seen a bottom? I would definitely have to say, according to this chart, the historical accurateness of it, absolutely not. Because if 2007 to 2009, we let's say 2006 to 2009, in that time period, we experienced, even in the last year of it, we experienced a 50-some% market decline. Okay, so what does that really mean? Okay, can I say without a shadow of a doubt that it's not going to happen? I can't say that. Okay, this coronavirus is very serious. Now, how do I know that it's very serious? Well, I happen to have an inside track. I'm very well connected at some very high levels with different officials from around the world. Okay, those officials are buying more masks. Okay, they're buying more equipment and more raw materials to build more masks. They're buying more equipment to build more thermometers. Okay, so it is a serious outbreak. The demand has gone up on a weekly basis for the past month. So I got my first orders of masks over a month ago. Most quantities are sold out or unavailable, to say the least. The raw materials are now what's in demand. So supply chains and it's buying raw materials. Okay, so this isn't inside information necessarily, but they are buying raw materials to make more masks. So there is a definite, let's say, supply and demand issue. There's a huge demand, a very low supply. And when we look back to the Cedric chart, as I show you again here, this chart indubitably is scary. Okay, this chart here is 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 big time. There's something major going on. Okay, that's 2019. We're just a little bit off by a couple months of a panic. Okay, this is something that we started in 2002. That we started in 2002. We didn't create this chart. We just built this chart out in 2002 with the mathematics moving forward past the year 1999. Prior to that, when Cedric created it, only went up to 1999. We moved the math out. And for 2019, 2020, we may be off by 6 months to a year. Looks like we're off by a few months here. So it isn't something that, let's say, so is this going to stop? Is this going to stop anytime soon? I would have to say, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Okay, so I don't see this Cedric chart not happening anytime soon. Okay. If there is a cure for the virus, okay, but car sales are down. So I just got off the phone with a friend of mine in Amsterdam. Her company bought her a car, but there's now a 3-month waiting list because the parts for that car to get assembled, wherever in Europe they're assembled, the supply chains are severely affected. So whatever company that you're dealing with, and 90% of them in the stock market today are affected by China in some way. There isn't any portion of my life that doesn't come in contact with China in some way, shape, or form. So I think, this may be a very nice way, and this is a very nice response to the trade war that Trump initiated with China. Okay, this is a very nice way to feel it, and we're all feeling it, that maybe the trade war was a little bigger than we anticipated, and maybe our supply chains and how we do business is a little too interconnected with one company, and that company is China Incorporated. Okay, China Incorporated is very well connected to my lives, to your lives. My headphones, most likely made in China. This microphone, most likely made in China. My MacBook Pro, most likely made in China. And so on and so forth, okay? From a lot of the raw materials that we get from our recycled plastics or rare earth minerals that China gets from other locations that they've got a dominance in Africa or wherever that may be. China, they've got us by the bag. They got us by the money bag. And to think that this is going to be over, even with the vaccine, it's going to take 3 to 6 months. As I said, we're behind in that supply chain. And I think every month that we go into it is a 3-month delay. So it's almost like a recovery or a upward trajectory in the markets for every month that the coronavirus goes on. It's going to be a 2 to 3 month delay in the markets, and you'll continue to see a downward spiral simply because we're not able to manufacture what we've done because our interdependence with China is too great. So, what does that mean? What is the solution? Obviously, for American companies, after the virus is over, you have to go to China. We've spoke about it before. You've got to start doing business in China, so they're just as interdependent on us as we are on them. And we've got to get more diversity in our supply chains. We can no longer depend on one country to be the armpit of the world, so to speak, manufacturing, all the sweat, making everything and being responsible for those things that other countries don't want to be responsible for. Yes, they've made a major investment, and it's time now that we as Americans have to do the same thing. We have to put policy forward from Trump on down to really win this trade war. It's a very serious thing that we're going to be going through. The Cedric chart over here, right over here, is it's a serious piece of history. It's historically been accurate. Make sure that you are stockpiled with things that are necessary. Make sure you have your water. Make sure you have your rice for a month or two in case the supplies get limited. We're seeing food fly off the shelves in Europe. My wife's family is from the Czech Republic. They got their last bag of noodles. Her family got the last one that was on the shelf. Really, their supply chains are completely out of whack because most of what they bring in is Chinese based, not necessarily with their foods, okay, but a lot of the transport and the way that the companies work, there's a lot of, every time something comes in, something has to go out. And when you mess with flux or that flow, and people start panic buying, or in the case of the stock market, panic selling, it triggers a much larger effect. Okay, so I got my first call for face masks, the N95s, the 3-ply surgical masks. I had a supplier in India, no problem, and then as days and weeks went by, the price started going astronomically up. The supply started going down. There's not many factories in the world that actually make these masks because beforehand, a factory would have, 100,000 a week. Now we have orders for 30 million, for 50 million. You need them for entire populations of people that before never had such a need, now have this need. So when the same thing where people are stockpiling and lifestyles change, the whole supply chain changes as well. So to think that we've got this covered and to think that this is a moderate correction, I think we're highly underestimating the market. We're highly underestimating the seriousness of this virus. I get it. It could be very well overblown. Okay. It could be very well overblown. Could be some type of Chinese checkers. Don't know. I don't know. But I have to, let's say, think about the possibilities. I have to look at the historical when you look at the chart right here. Okay. The chart right there says, 2019, 2020 is a panic occur. Okay. A 10% correction is not a panic because we see over here a good time. Okay. We see over here a B. This is a B line across here in the middle. Okay. That B line is low prices, time to buy. That's the 2007, 8, 9 time frame. Okay, that's a good time to buy. Things went down to a 55%. Okay, this is 3 to 4 to 5 times larger panic that the chart signifies. Okay, this is historical records. This is history, probability, mathematics, numbers repeating itself. So, are we in for a really big decline? Absolutely. Will it happen? I can't guarantee that. I think if a vaccine is determined to be effective and the virus is, squashed and schools remain open, hospital remains open, people start going to events again, yes, that will happen. But as we said in our previous show, with Ron Grinke, the mathematician, um, there are still opportunities in the stock market to make money. There's inverses. There's, a lot of video conferencing, which is where we're going to be doing most of our business now. So life is going to change. It didn't last really long. Um, you know, the stock market crash in 1929 was like what, 4 years. So um, it's possible. I think um, life and technology flow a lot different than they did there. We have a lot more standardization and fail safes in place to prevent it happening for a long term. But again, it falls down really quickly. Okay, there is some pushback now. Um, that volatility is decreasing. Maybe some people are seeing things settle out, and I think that's probably more wishful thinking than anything. When you have certain news media saying that the Pope got the coronavirus, as soon as some more notable figures actually get it, I don't know many famous people in China, but as a famous American gets it, as a famous European gets it, maybe a European football star, maybe someone in the royal family, people will start to take it extremely more seriously than they do now. Whether the death rates increase or decrease, the fact that there is, the probability of, infectiousness, and it's been hyped up so much, something is going to happen with it. Okay. Could be totally artificial. I haven't seen it with my own eyes. I've just seen the demand. I've seen um, they closed down Macau, which is a hub for gambling and a hub for money. It's billions of dollars a day that they've closed and quarantined. Um, and you know, it's could be a show of power. Could be, you know, part of the trade war. Uh, with that being said, this whole exercise could be part of the trade war. Okay. Um, that all remains to be seen, and that will be for the historians to write about. What I do know right now is that it's something that we have to take serious. We can't take it lightly. We have to be prepared and really, really, first of all, protect yourself. Okay, make sure that you've got your precious metals stockpiled, that your investments, that you've got enough time to recover on these, because we don't know how long the recovery period will be. But make sure the one thing you don't do is sell at the bottom. Okay, so it's either sell now or I hold into it for the next who knows how long. Okay, it could be a year, could be 4 years. We don't know exactly how long it'll last. Okay, there's a lot of smart people that are analyzing things. I'm boots on the ground. I see it. I feel it. We're now sourcing parts for thermometers that China made, but they don't have the parts made anymore because their supply chains have broken down. So when their supply chains have broken down and they're looking for sources for own supply chains to create things like infrared thermometers that have major orders of millions of pieces from Dubai and Singapore and around the world, that is a major challenge for global markets. Okay. And global markets will have a tumble simply because the supply chain is not what it was. People's behaviors are changing. People's behaviors will change by fear or reality, whatever it may be. I cannot determine the that for a fact. Okay. I don't have coronavirus. I don't plan to get coronavirus, and I'm doing everything myself to be prepared. Whether that's a mask or staying away from traveling. You all saw the president of the United States, Donald Trump, told us we have nothing to fear about. Usually, when the government tells us that we have nothing to fear about, that's when we should fear the most. So, with that being said, um, you know, it's impossible for me to understand and to accept that this will not have a more severe consequence in the market, because it's timely for Cedric. It is uh, the perfect storm or the black swan or whatever you want to call it of something that is more or less unstoppable. Okay, it is a virus. So viruses are unstoppable unless, of course, we get some type of Norton antivirus in the form of a vaccine that is rapidly promoted around the world in a very, you know, virulent fashion as well. So, let's hope that that happens. Let's hope that a lot of lives are saved, and let's all hope for the best. But in planning for the worst, um, my belief is that you really have to be prepared. Um, you really have to be cognizant about what's going on around you and understand that things are going to change. That's the only thing that we can be, let's say, sure of, that life is constantly changing. And in this respect, it's changing in a big way. Okay. Um, China has displayed a huge reaction, whether it's an overreaction or not. Italy is following suit, quarantining some of their cities. Um, there most likely will be something again that we've never seen before in the history of man in certain types of actions. Okay, we have already blockaded certain flights from China and otherwhere. Certain people coming in. I think more of that will happen. Um, so we've got to get our supply chains in order. But with that being said, take a look at the chart. Okay, I'm going to show it to you again one more time in a very big way. Okay, this is the Cedric chart. And if you look over here to 2019, that is C, and it's years when panic occurs, and which will occur again. 2002, that was around the 2000 .com crash. Okay, so you can probably liken it to the total losses in that time period. um it's a lot. I mean, the total losses during that time period um were trillions of dollars. So that it's something that we can liken to that in a, let's say, it continued to 2001 to 2002 and the bubble burst. Okay. um we definitely had a 76% fall. Okay, it's huge. So are we going to see something like that now? It looks like that answer is yes. We got 2000, 2002, 2019, 2020. If it's going to happen, it's likely going to happen now. We're already 10% in. So what do we have? Another 60% to go, another 70% to go. I personally can't answer that question, how much further it's going to go. What I can say is that it's real. Um, that 11% this week is felt by a lot of people. Okay, you got to have the right strategy. You got to know what you're doing. You got to be able to make your way during these types of scenarios. Got to be smart. Okay, no matter what business you're in, real estate, it's going to suffer. Okay, whatever you're doing, you've got to plan ahead. If your job is in the airlines, it's going to be impacted. If your job is in travel, it's going to be impacted. If if your job is dependent on parts from China, if you're in the car business and you're manufacturing cars in the United States, if you work for General Motors, if you work for Ford, you're going to get laid off. It's possible. Okay. I didn't say it's 100%, but it's possible that those supply chains are going to be so disruptive that they cannot fulfill the orders that they've made. Like Tesla, Gigafactory in China. Are they going to be able to fulfill on their orders for Asia? Are they going to be able to fill in their orders for the United States? What portion of their supply chain is dependent on China? By the looks of them, I'd probably say a lot. I don't know the exact details of where everything is made. But again, there will be a greater impact than you thought possible. So companies like Zoom, companies like GoToMeeting, companies that are doing online types of things, events, if the virus continues to go, live events, Switzerland just came out today that events of more than 1,000 people are canceled. Okay, I wouldn't go to an event. I don't want to be take the risk. Okay, I don't ride motorcycles. I don't, fly my own airplane. I don't take the risk. Okay, you got to really weigh the risk, the pros and cons. Be prepared. Um, this is something that is likely. It is something that you know is more than possible. I think a lot of people want to put their head in the sand and put on blinders and say, "Hey, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. This can't happen. It's not going to happen." And yeah, you might be right, but this chart might be right as well. And this chart is mathematics, and mathematics is generally right to most degrees. So to say that this chart defies all mathematics and all types of logic when we saw a 57% market decline in this upper circle from 2007 to 2009. And then we had this long swing in 2019, 2020 there, all the way to the bottom. It was pretty on for the prior ones, pretty on for the 2000.com bubble, right? Right. They're maybe a couple months off, 6 months, a year off, but they're right in that in that in that in that area. And this seems like the perfect storm to have that happen. I have not seen anything to this date that this is Outbreak the movie. It's maybe not that bad, but it's definitely life imitating art to where it will affect your stocks. It will affect your retirement. You need to be prepared for it, and you need to plan accordingly. So, with that being said, this is Adam Wins. This is the winningest. I apologize for not giving you the best of news and telling you everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be the best. You've got to make a personal choice here in how you're going to deal with the realities of the situation that we all face. Okay, we're all in the same basket. Not all of us are invested in the stock market, but we're all invested in America, and America's running companies, and the stock market is the backbone of America. So just keep your heads up, stay strong, stay focused. It's a great time to focus on yourself because we'll have no control of what's going on with the stock markets as things fall. Stay positive. Get those things done you never were able to do. If you had a dream to go and do something, go and do it. If you had a dream to write your book, go and do it. If you had, it's a great time to find out who you are. Volatile times like this are great times to really, do a lot of introspection to see what was important before when money was easy and things were going great. Now you're going to see who your friends are. Now you're going to see really what is truth, what things are, who people are made of and what that's all about and who yourself is made of. That's the most important thing of this situation. So we've already established the fact that something is happening. An 11% market drop in a week is significant. It's a correction. Is that going to go back up next week? It might. And then it might go back down again, even further. So will it go back up? Of course, it always goes back up. Okay, that's what you could rest assured of. If you have the time for it to go back up, if you've got 2 years, you got 5 years, I've got all the time in the world. That's why health and wealth is so important. You've got to keep your health about you right now. You've got to extend your years. You got to buy yourself more time. You got to eat right. You've got to live right. You got to take the right vitamins, to have the right diet, the right exercise. It is pivotal to get through times like this because it is going to be stressful. And stress is the number one killer of humans. Okay. You need to be stress free as you possibly can, knowing and operating within fact and truth and taking your blinders off and seeing, okay, I can see that. I can see that. And actually operating in a manner that is transparent and consistent is going to be your best help. It's going to be your best bet. This is Adam Wins. This is the winningest. We're going to still continue to win in the stock market because we're always going to have an advantage. We have mathematics on our side. We have the time on our side. We're going to win overall. It's about the long game. We're more than satisfied, more than aware, more than prepared for what we're about to go through. We've known it's going to happen. So now's the time to deal with it. If you don't have a system, it's still a good time, and it's going to continue to be a good time. So if you've got cash set aside, it's the perfect time, not today, but shortly. It's a perfect time to start learning a strategy in the stock market so that as things bottom out, as you see this chart on the bottom right here, 2019, 2020 at the very bottom when the panics occur, that's the very best time to buy. That's when billions upon trillions are made, and money is shifted from those who sell low to those that buy low. And that is when the money is made. That is when the fortunes in the stock market are traded. And we're going to see a huge shift in wealth coming up in this next cycle. So be prepared for it. Have some money set aside. If you've never invested in the stock market, now's the best time to find one. Go to wallstreetwinning.com. Go to winningest.com. Over on the winningest.com, there's a link. Okay, I've got a ton of free training for you. We've got our books. We've got our course. Get in and just learn all you can, because this is a perfect time to learn, okay? Things are going to be happening that are out of our control. Things eventually are going to hit a bottom, and that's when the buying starts, and that's when the buying starts winning. I saw it in real estate in 2012. Those who had the cash in 2012 cleaned up. Those are the multimillionaires of today in the real estate game. They had the right timing, and this is all about the right timing, okay? The timing is now to get the information that you need. The timing is now to learn a new system if you don't have one, okay? You got to have a system. It's about, having the right system, a way to trade, a way to know what you're doing, okay? You don't have to ride this thing to the bottom. If you're in positions now, just wait it out, ride it, make some premium on your calls, on your puts, sell the options all the way down, sell all the way back up. You'll do well. Okay. And those of you who start at the bottom and ride all the way up, you're going to do even better. So keep your cash handy when those deals come on sale. Okay. It's supply and demand. The demand is going to go way down. The supply is going to go way up. That means you're going to be able to buy cheap. Okay. You're going to be able to buy cheap. $10,000 can make you a millionaire when you buy cheap. Okay. Be smart. Save your money. Okay. Don't be buying some dumb shit right now. Don't be going out and getting that fancy watch. Okay. Don't be putting it in something that you don't know for sure it's going to go back up. Even Bitcoin. If you got some Bitcoin, sell the crap out of it. Invest in the stock market, cash out a little bit so that you're cash rich when the time is right to buy. That time is coming. Time is upon us in the very near future here. I believe. Mathematically, that's what the chart shows us, okay? The chart over here is showing us, Cedric is showing us that the time is now. So be prepared, keep saving, keep working hard, put some money aside, and be really smart with it. If you got your money with somebody that is, let's say, a financial professional, or a real estate professional, those things are going to be affected, okay? They're going to be affected. And you've got to be proactive. And if you're just trusting it to somebody that they're going to do it right for you, hopefully they got a system. Hopefully. And that's hope investing. You got to stop hope investing. You've got to invest with knowledge, authority. You've got to get the training. You've got to get the education and buy into a system that works. So check it out. wallstreetwinning.com. They've got the system that's right for you. It's going to be able to help you. We've been working on this for years and years and years and years. Okay. It is the right thing, the right place, the right time. You're going to have to make lemonade. Okay. We're going to get a bunch of lemons here in the stock market, in the economy, in everything you see over here in this chart. Okay. And you're going to have to make lemonade. I'm Adam Wins. This is the winningest. And when you get lemons, make lemonade. Have a good one.
You are listening to The Winningest with Adam Wins. Intelligent information from those that have achieved the highest levels of success to become the winningest in wellness and wealth. Bringing you the winningest from around the globe to help you get to the highest levels of winning to become the winningest in everything you do. Leading the way to the winningest to get you the winningest levels in your wellness and wealth. The Winningest with Adam Wins.